Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Hope you had a good spring break. We were in here we go, Chicago, which had a really good time, and survived with only there we go that small accident. There's still ice out there, so be careful as it all melts away. All right, there'll be a couple videos this week, and today is just going to cover. Bear with me. Oh, getting back in the swing of it. Homework. So chapter 6 and 7 of The Righteous Mind. 6 is pretty short. But it's really interesting stuff. He uses the analogy of taste buds to talk about how, if you can think about it, some people like spicy, some people like sour, some people like sweet and sour, and he's going to break down different ideas into flavors and then talk about how liberals, conservatives have different taste buds, and so they respond differently. And then in the next chapter, Moral Foundations, about how those ideas shape political parties. And then, so that's for Thursday. And then for Monday, it'll be chapter 8, and there's a post on that, and he talks about why politically conservatives have an advantage, and it goes into how conservatives are activated by more things than liberals, more big ideas, and that will make a lot of sense once you read the book. The other thing is there will be posted midweek a small assignment that's going to help you switch gears and now think about the topic you mentioned way back in the beginning and the big research paper. Over the next 2 weeks, I hope to grade everybody's paper. That will be your final grade unless you want to revise it. So if you don't like where you're at, feel you can do better, and you want to, you will have that opportunity. Now, as you're reading, one of the things that I want you to think about is when you're reading this book, yes, you're getting the information about the author and what he's thinking about morality, but you're also talking about the process. And what you have noticed, I'm sure, throughout is he goes to school, goes into a class, and somebody says A equals C. And he's like, well, couldn't A equal something else? And they're like, no. Like, well, what if we look into it? And then finds out that these ideas are continually shifting and growing and going into favor, out of favor, being supported by research and not. And I think that's a very valuable thing for all college students, is to realize that so much of what is presented as solid ground, some of it just isn't. Or it's solid ground under certain conditions, like water is water above 32 degrees, below it it's ice, and then if you go above 212, it boils and evaporates. So you can have H2O and you can be right saying it's a solid, you can be right saying it's a gas, you can be right saying it's a liquid if certain conditions are met. And I think that is a very valuable thing to understand about the ideas that all of your professors are explaining to you. And I found this out, I think, was so crazy myself in chemistry class, because, first time in chemistry, they say, here's the formula. And you're like, great. And then you go on and they say, okay, here's the formula, but this is the number you have to times it to because the formula doesn't quite work. I'm like, oh. Holy cow. And how the heck did they figure that out? So, as you're reading your book, I want you to start thinking about your topic. And say you are interested in, gun control. Doesn't matter. Who are the experts? And then, so we could start getting a range of, well, who does the media pick as experts? And that goes from everybody from NRA spokespeople to people who've been involved in shootings, right? And then when it comes to the experts, what ideas do they consider being settled, right? Like, this is just the way it is, right? And then once you know who the people are who are considered the experts, now you can start looking for, well, who are the people, right, on the outside who are challenging them? And sometimes the person on the outside is actually in that same system, right? So it might be an academic who's challenging other academics. So what settled ideas about whatever it is at your topic might be challenging? And so you will be, of course, doing some research to figure this out, right? Another thing to think about as you're reading this book, you'll see that they do tests. We want to figure out this, so we come up with this idea. So what are the most important things that are shaping your topic? And to go back to gun control, well, in the United States, it's how damn often we kill each other with weapons, which is pretty high compared to so many other countries, right? So what's shaping the topic? And then you might add something like views on semi-automatic rifles, because if you actually look into the research, it's handguns that kill the most Americans. But semi-automatic rifles or assault rifles or whatever you want to call them, they're the ones that get in the news, right, and become a big deal. And so it's like, oh my goodness. And so, of course, we should be talking about something that's used in mass shootings. And we are pretending, and in some sense, when you think about it, that, wow, if we just didn't have those guns, and maybe mass shootings would go down, but we would still have the majority of people being killed by handguns. And would do nothing for that. So what's shaping the topic, right? What are, did I say that twice? What are the most important things shaping your topic? What are the most important things your topic is shaping? So this is sort of a flip on that. So if we're going to go with gun control, and what is gun control shaping? Well, I'll tell you what it shapes: politics. Because gun owners are a very strong, at times, one-issue voter. So, right, the Republican Party understands that. And people like to think the NRA, it's all about the money. But no, I mean, it's a nice part to have, but it's about getting people to vote. So gun rights are influencing politics. Right? And, you could do the same thing with abortion, or pick that hot button issue that a lot of people will go out and vote and ignore everything else, right? I'm just voting for anti-abortion, right? Gun rights, gun control. So what are the things that your topic is shaping? Now, I don't expect you this week to have full answers on all of these, but I do want you to just start thinking. When you're reading the book, I want you to absolutely be, what's the main idea of this book? What's going on? But I also want you to think, okay, how do I, or can I, apply this to other things that I'm looking at? So, for example, if you know the field of psychology has these ideas and they kind of get locked in, and then sometimes somebody will come and push them out, well, you can imagine how many other fields, how many other ideas also get stagnant. Or when you are looking at this, and in this next group, you're going to read some really neat pairings of what people focus on. And this might give you an idea about your topic that you haven't thought about, right? So how does, one second. So here we go. How does care, harm, fairness, cheating, loyalty, betrayal, authority, subversion, sanctity, degradation, and liberty, oppression, how do those, or better yet, which ones of these show up in your topic? And of course, once you read chapters 7 and 8, these will make a lot of sense. And to give you a little quick one on loyalty and betrayal, right? We all know snitches get stitches, but think about this, right? If you are, say you do something wrong, right? And if you are all on loyalty, right, the people around you will be like, right, okay. And you might think this is awesome, right? And snitches should get stitches. Now think about this. What if you are planning to kill 100 people? Well, and somebody knows it. And they're just like, well, snitches get stitches, so sorry, 100. That's crap, right? I mean, so there are situations where it's like loyalty can be awesome, but loyalty can also be deadly to society or individuals. So you have to, who's this loyalty to? Who are you betraying? Because maybe you should betray the individual to save somebody else. Or maybe you shouldn't. I don't know. I won't tell you. Except on the whole killing people. If somebody's going to kill people, you be a snitch. But you're not being a snitch, right? We would actually most likely be saying something else. Like you are being a stand-up person. You are holding somebody accountable, right? You are saving somebody from themselves or whatever. But you can see in your topic, there's going to be views about authority and subversion, right? And this is the difference between do what you're told and sometimes, nah, screw that, right? And you can see where if there is no authority, we have chaos. And if it's all subversion, there's no order. I'm sorry, I just said the same thing. If authority is everything, we have tyranny, right? And if subversion is everything, is chaos. So we need to find the balance between authority and chaos, right? And that's each individual kind of has to do that. So whatever your topic is, I doubt you will use all 6 of these, but maybe, right, 2 or 3 of these ideas might give you a new way of looking at your topic, right? I think that will cover it. There'll be a couple more things, but this should get you started for the week.